Good evening, people. Welcome to Let's Talk Liverpool. This is episode 20, and I'm joined by my partner in crime, Fuzzy. We have Patrick, true City fan, going to be joining us tonight, and we're going to be talking about the fallout between Liverpool and FC Porto and this coming blockbuster game between the current Premier League champions, Manchester City versus Liverpool. So let's rock and roll, people. How you doing, Fuzzy?
Oh, good, mate. Happy with the result over the week. You know what I mean? 5-0 is a happy result for me, bro. Everything's good.
Yes. We're looking good shape. But we got so much things to discuss about. Before we bring our guest in, we have to start the show with today's topics and intro. So let's rock and roll, people. This is Let's Talk Liverpool, episode 20. Okay, people, so there you have it. Let's Talk LFC, LFC, Liverpool Red Forever community channel, and this is episode 20. So, Patrick, Manchester City fan, how are you doing today, and how's your week been in general?
No, my week has been busy, obviously, work and everything, but I still had the opportunity to watch the amazing game on Tuesday. I saw the highlights of your game and the other games, but look, it's been a busy week, but I don't know how you guys have been too.
We've been good, considering Liverpool, we've been good, but you know how it is, you know the grind of a week, you know how it goes already. My partner in crime, Fuzzy, would tell you. And by the way, Fuzzy, that hat is looking absolutely
smashing.
Thank you,
Fuzzy.
bro.
It's so white, it's blinding me. So
I need to change the colour.
I've been direct from the store, innit?
Yep, you was there, bro, when we bought it.
And I'm loving the retro top as well. But for me, it's a little bit chilly, so I've got the hoodie on today. So let's rock and roll, man. Let's rock and roll, guys. Let's first and foremost big up to one of our, people that work with us, Maria. Yeah. We'll skate backwards. Big up to her as well, Maria. And let's big up to Dan, the man new to the platform, and also Antonio. Don't forget Rob as well, and all the other people that I may have missed. So let's rock and roll then, Fuzzy. Let's start it. Where are we going to start with it tonight?
Let's start with the Champions League, innit, mate? And we could just talk from there. Obviously, Man City lost to PSG 2-0. I watched the game. I was doing it live on UFT.
Yes, that's right.
Man City didn't look that impressive. I don't know what Patrick thinks, but PSG deserved the win. But, opening PSG up, they struggled within that game, to be fair. I don't know what you think, Patrick, but it didn't look impressive, bro.
For me, I'm going to go with the opposite. I'm not just defending us. I think we actually played good. We played very good, but the difference was clinical. PSG took their chances and scored, while Man City just passed the ball around. Okay, this is what happened. We outplayed them, and they had a tactic that worked. I think from the last game they saw that, you know what, we can't outplay Man City. I think they just sat back and said, you know what, we're going to just pick our moments and attack. Yeah. If you saw the game, PSG were just picking their moments. PSG were not pressing that high. They were just closing up, picking up their moments. And you know what, when you have got people like Messi in your team, as soon as I saw him point at his feet and get the ball in that area, I knew that I knew it was a goal. I knew this is going to end up as a goal, because when he does that, it's over. But I get where you're coming from, but I just think our players actually played good. The only players I was disappointed was Jack Grealish. I don't know if he was starstruck. He seemed like he wasn't even he wasn't trying to beat Hakimi.
Yeah,
that's how bad it was. Like every time he gets close to Hakimi, he was looking around for something else. De Bruyne didn't have such a great game, but I think as a team we played well. But if we were clinical, because we had opportunities with Raheem and Bernardo Silva hitting the post, if we had somebody clinical, I think that game it's going to a draw or something. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
maybe that's why we need a striker. Maybe that's why we need a striker.
Yeah, well said, Patrick. I went to watch the game on a replay because I was covering the Liverpool versus Porto game on the Liverpool-related channel, and I totally agree with you. Manchester City did not really play bad. It was, you know what the game reminded me of? The game in Manchester United and Villarreal.
Yeah.
Where Villarreal dominated Manchester United. We will touch upon that after, but for me, what I saw, you could tell PSG learnt their lesson from the previous encounters last season and have sat back and waited to pick their moment.
What do you mean, like, let them pass it about, like, for passing sake, as they always do?
Yes, and in all honesty, what was missing from Manchester City was a clinical striker.
Yeah.
And I believe Pep Guardiola is going to rectify that, whether that's in January or next summer. They are going to spend big once again, unfortunately, for everyone else. You could say, in a way, they were unlucky, you know, because when I watched the game back, I thought, okay, this seems, you know, like a hammering what PSG done, a 2-0 hammering. But when I watched it, you wouldn't think that was a great PSG side playing at home with all, you know, that money at their disposal, all the great players they got in the team, the Verrattis, you know, they got an incredible team. And they know now, with the addition of Messi, they've got to go further in this competition. And let's be honest,
they have to.
Let's scrap all of that rubbish. They've got to win the goddamn thing. They've got to win it now. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, Manchester City was unlucky. So, yeah, I see what you're saying, Patrick. They played well, but they just couldn't get their finishing done. And we've seen that in a few games this season already. Even the Chelsea game, for example, Manchester City should have been at least 3 goals to the good in that game.
Yeah, I think I get where Foz is saying. I think it's because I think after the Chelsea game, people were expecting the same, I think, intensity.
Yeah.
I think that's what you were looking for. I get where you come from, but that's all. But we played the Man City game, except I was so disappointed because even when we lost the game, I don't know if that's why some of us maybe are, like, we take Messi as a GOAT. Even after he scored, I sat there and said, you know what? it's yours. It's your win. This is the first PSG win, by the way. They've never beaten us. So, look, for me, I don't know. I wasn't even disappointed. For me, for the whole week, I have actually been scared. I was scared of Chelsea and Liverpool. PSG, I was like, you know what? Whatever happens. We get a draw. We get a 2-1. Fair play. But it's always Chelsea and Liverpool, especially Liverpool. I don't know why I have so much fear. Even when I go out to watch Liverpool, I shake until the match. I'm always like this. It's just So this is what I mean. Like, I think PSG with Messi, they have to do something because they have the X factor. What did he do? I don't know if you guys saw the match. He walked the whole match. The whole match is just walking. Until the last minute, he did that. So they might win it. You're right. They might win it unless they meet Salah. Salah is also not playing, so they might win it.
I love that. Before we go further, we're going to big up some people in the chat. We're going to start the other way around from the bottom. Big up to Will Skate Backwards. That's one of our co-hosts on the platform, Maria. She couldn't make it today due to personal issues. I hope all is well with you and the family, Maria. Big up to Mr. Joe Power, one of the regulars on the platforms. Respect to you. Good evening to everyone. Big up to Mr. Alid, Clap Talk TV, another Liverpool young content creator. Big up to yourself, Alid. And big up to Aziz as well. Some cracking games in the UEFA Champions League this week. It was a good round in regards to all the games. So, Fuzzy, let's touch upon it now.
Yeah, let's move on. Let's move on to the other team. Obviously, our game. Obviously, we won about like 5 goals to 1. It's Porto. It's our customary wins down there. We're always winning this game about that amount of goals. I don't know what's going on. It's like Porto. They can beat every team in the Champions League, but for some reason, against Liverpool, they just concede a lot of goals.
Yeah, they do.
And I'm thinking to myself, are we that good or are Porto that bad? You know what I mean? After the Brentford game over the weekend. I think we was good. I think we was excellent because I had to rewatch it, obviously. And the way we was passing about, the way we defending, you know what I mean? The way we was attacking, it was all as a unit. It was closing down like we normally do as well. So it looked like after the Brentford game, I think everybody got together and said, you know what? Enough of this tit for tat kind of football. Let's play our game and win the games like we normally do. And Liverpool was outstanding. Obviously, the scoreline is 5-1, but it should have even been more. We had a few chances, and I think it was a fair result at the end.
Yes, I agree with you there, Fuzzy. We couldn't even know. Honestly, that could have been an 8-1 smashing. And I think if the came just fearing Liverpool. I remember going back to when we had them in the last encounter in 2019. It was in the last 8. Before that, we had them in the last 16 and we demolished them at their home ground. But I remember when the draw came at the hat and their manager, the camera panned to the manager, and he just had a face of horror. Like, oh my God, not these again. But we absolutely, from start to finish, dominated that game. Now, what I'm going to do, if you just remove your one, Fuzzy, I'm going to share my screen and just get out some of the stats from this game, because I saw the potential mark of champions. I know it's too early and people might be thinking, what are you on about? But for me, that was a very, very disciplined, organised, well-composed performance by Liverpool away from home. Let's be honest, we know FC Porto's not an elite European team and the cream of the crop, but they're a good team. They rarely lose at their home stadium as well. And if you look at the statistics here, people, Liverpool were averaging nearly 70% possession in the majority of that game. I covered the game. You look at that, that's an away from home. And you look at the total shots Liverpool had, there's 21 to Porto's 6, 13 on target. So that really paints the true picture of the game. It was a well-deserved 5-1 victory. Let's be honest, some of the goals were a bit scruffy, a bit scrappy. But let's be honest, we blew them away. They had no answer.
Don't forget, this is a team that played in the quarterfinals last season, beat Juventus and likes of those teams.
Bro. That's right. And
they're not walkover or anything like that.
Yeah, there are no pushovers, no pushovers whatsoever. And it was a brilliant performance by Liverpool, and it keeps us in good stead now. We've got, if I'm right, we've got Athletic Madrid next.
Yeah, away.
We've had history with them. So if we get a point in Liverpool's regards in that game, it's not the worst case scenario. Because
not anymore. Now I agree with you, Zeza.
Exactly. We don't have to chase that game.
Yeah.
And for me, honourable mentions in that game goes out to Fab again. In the defensive midfield area, was a warrior. Nobody was getting past him, was getting stuck in. We know at times he can be a bit rash and clumsy and he gives away fouls, but he has it in all spades, in all abundance, in that position. Henderson, Mr. Captain, fantastic. We're going to talk about him tonight as well. He was brilliant as well. And he came for a lot of slack in the previous game against Brentford. I know from you in particular, Fuzzy, Mr. Curtis Jones. He was absolutely amazing. We're going to talk about him separately as well. But for me, Salah, once again, coming up with the goals. He's just in the right place at the right time. And I think this season...
People need to take the blinkers off, Laser. People need to take the blinkers off. This guy is performing season in, season out, and he's not getting the credit he deserves. Nope. I've had enough of it. I honestly had enough of it. You know what I mean? People need to take the blinkers off. Sorry to disturb, mate. People recognize the guy, man. Recognize Salah, mate. You know what I mean?
You know what, Patrick, as an opposing fan now, a rival fan, in other words, how do you rate Mohamed Salah, the Egyptian king?
I think I put a very honest tweet after the Champions League game, and I even told one of my friends who's a Liverpool fan, I was like, the only reason why majority of us were bringing things like diving, or easily goes down, or Salah is a one-season wonder, was due to jealousy and envy. And I was one to admit that. I think I said it on my tweet. If you find my tweet, I said, look, Salah is the best player in the Premier League right now. Right now, as we speak, he is. I even went as far as saying, look, right now in the world, let's say who's one of the greatest goal scorers right now? It's also Salah. So let's stop the hate. When they say if you can beat them, join them. This is very tricky for me. There's nothing we can do. Like let's all, everybody who's watching this, and you're not a Liverpool fan, let's just sit back and just accept that Mohamed Salah is one of the best at goal scoring and one of the best players out there. So stop hating, because there's nothing. It's inevitable at this point in time. Yeah. He's actually become Liverpool's own personal Cristiano Ronaldo. How he used to be inevitable in Madrid, where you slate him in the newspapers, you slate him and say, Cristiano Ronaldo is a tap-in merchant. And guess what? He still scores those tap-ins. Where is your player? So, look, Mohamed Salah right now has to be considered as one of the best, if not the best winger right now. But the issue about people is this. I'm going to just tell you guys. I think where people start sort of saying, no, he's not actually the best winger, is I think because you don't see Salah dribbling past people that much. You know, like those flair skills. People want a Sane who is grinding like that. They want somebody like Maris who's flair with like that. But at the end of the day, let's be honest. If I was to pick right now, I used to say Maris is better than Salah at a point in time, or maybe skill-wise. But let's be honest. Right now, where I'm sitting, do you know who I'm going to be picking in my team? I'm picking Salah. I get what he does. He doesn't want to waste time. He doesn't want to dribble people, cut in, do this now. He wants to just cut in immediately short. He wants to get in the ball. So look, let's just admit it. He is the best winger right now. If somebody is disagreeing with me, drop it in the comments. Who is better than Salah?
People.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Who's
you know
better
what?
than Salah, please?
Great opinions and thoughts there, Patrick. For me, can we really even call him a winger? You know, he's more of a hybrid of an inside forward for me.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Well, going back to the comparison between him and Mahrez, for me, when Mahrez came onto the scene, he was an unknown player. You know, he came from, I think it was a second division team in France.
Yeah, he did,
Yeah.
What for 400?
He spent one season in the championship and he showed his quality. But for me, I think with Mahrez, something lacks with him. I don't know if it's a mental thing or confidence issue. There's times when I see him play. He has all the talent, but he has his head down. He doesn't do enough for me in certain games when I watch him play for Man City. What the comparison you was making with Salah and a lot of other players you mentioned, Salah doesn't have the finesse and the trickery. He just goes straight and he has his eye for goal.
Look at the kill.
That doesn't matter to him. All that dribbling and flicks and tricks and back heels and all that kind of stuff. Yes, he can do it at times, you know, when he links up on that side with Trent, but he just has one eye for goal. And for me, he's getting better.
Yeah, that's the worst part of it, Laser. That's you know what, that made me laugh. Like, I was arguing with people at work about it. I said the guy's still in his prime because he reached a certain age. They're saying like he's reached 29, he's not in his prime anymore. I said the guy improves every season. He scores the same amount of goals one season, and he dips like a couple of goals, but he comes back even more like that the next season. He does this up and down thing with his goals, but he's always 20 goals marking every season he's played at Liverpool Football Club. And not only that, you got to think about Salah. Now this season, I don't know if you guys noticed it, but he's defending. He's actually going back to his own goal and helping out the right back position. And he's defending for the team. That's what you need. You need the players that actually are a unit. You can't have individual based players. That's why Man United are struggling. I told you, Laser, in the beginning, I said Man United will struggle with Ronaldo the way he plays. Now, they're all playing to him and look at them now. They're all struggling. They're scoring last minute goals. Lucky. That was a lucky goal. Villarreal actually played better than them. So it shows, like, if you're not a team, you're going to be struggling badly in this league. And Patrick knows all about that at Man City as well. Sorry, Patrick, you want to say something?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I was about to say this on Mahrez. You see, this is the thing about both players. The same thing as Salah, the way they say, because he doesn't have that flair, he doesn't do those tricks, like those Neymar things. Like Neymar right now, what is Neymar? It's all about skills. Like, look at that game, all he was doing is flicking the ball over, and people are like, oh, best player. Yeah. So you see, it goes to Mahrez now. I think Mahrez, the only thing that's missing is that. Don't waste time. When you beat a man, score. I think if Riyad Mahrez was doing 20 also, plus his skill, we would have been putting him, elevating up there. But I put him down because some of the times you're like, shoot, please, shoot. And he keeps going, cut it in. While if it was Salah, it's twice, it's in the goal, you see? So, but look, for me right now, it's Salah. I know that, as you said, I know that he's a forward also. He's a disguised forward, which is true, because I think he can also be a good striker, maybe in his order. But right now, what's Neymar doing? I'm sorry. I'd rather have Salah. And I'm pretty sure PSG, deep down inside, you'd also have Salah right now in your team.
And well said, man. It's scary stuff what Salah can achieve. You know, as Fuzzy alluded to, he's in the peak of his powers. Going to be 30 years older. For me, he's getting better. There's more of a discipline about him this season. And we can see already from the moment of that first home game against Norwich, the away game, you know, we played at Carrow Road. He's just been on his game. He scored 8 goals already this season, if I'm correct.
Correct me if I'm wrong, you two, yeah? Doesn't this Salah this season remind you of the Salah that came to Liverpool in the first season?
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, but that other Salah was too much. That's why I make you switch off your TV as a rival fan. You switch off your TV because of that Salah. You switch it off.
That was because it was an unknown quantity. Then people wasn't sure.
He was a bad boy. No, that was bad.
For me, Salah is on a mission, and he's going to be the key for Liverpool winning some amazing trophies. We're going to get back to the comments, and we're still going to talk about Liverpool's performance against Porto. Now, Maria's saying, were Liverpool amazing against Porto or were Porto poor? What we're thinking. Now, Fuzzy, what do you think? Because for me, I think it's a combination of both.
Yes,
I think
that's what I was just
Liverpool
about to say.
were too good for Porto, as well as Porto being poor in parts of the game. They're not an elite team, and I just think once Liverpool got a foothold in the game, our quality was way too much for them. We were pressing high, and we were showing Liverpool of 18, 19, you know, Fuzzy. I don't know what you think, but that was the Liverpool of the early Champions League campaigns under Klopp. We were showing no mercy on them. We just was playing them back, pressuring them.
Yeah, I honestly think like in this game is a bit of both, like you said, Laser. The thing with us on this game is you know, like when you come out of a bad performance over the weekend, you want to show the world like what you're all about. You know what I mean? You're not here to like let other teams bully you through things as well. So that's what happened in this game. That's the thing. The Brentford game did put those you know, those goals and the performance, you know, even higher in a higher level. But the thing with Porto is Porto only play one way, bro, and they don't come out of that. I think they've tried to play their game, but you know, Liverpool just backfired on them. Every opportunity Porto had, Liverpool was right on them, right on them. Yeah, they couldn't even pass the ball. Even the commentator was saying they couldn't even get two passes together. That's how bad it was getting for them.
It was hard for them.
Yeah, so I think it's a bit of both, like you said, Liz. I agree with you 100,000,000%. I think Porto didn't study Liverpool as well as they should have. They should have like at least camped outside their boxes instead of like attacking and trying to like win a game that way. But Liverpool, they're just going back to their old ways, which is closing down, blocking, you know, intercepting passes. That's what I liked about Jones the other day. He was actually intercepting a lot. All 5 goals he was involved in. You know what I mean, that shows how he performed as well. And like you said about Fabinho, since Fabinho has been playing as a defensive midfielder, Liverpool haven't lost people. Check it out.
Yeah, this is what people don't realise. And the thing is, I also think during that game, you know, the Brentford game was a kick up the backside. You know, we know it's a different competition, but I think Liverpool also wanted to lay a marker down and say to teams, look, we're still done here. We're still one of the kings of Europe. Don't think you can take the piss with us. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I know other teams, I'm being real here, I know other teams will look at that and think, the menace here, you know. You know, you look at the way, yes, 5 goals looks like a hammering, but it was the manner how we dismantled a team in their own backyard. And other teams now would think, we've got to be really careful. The only thing I worry about now is when we play other certain teams of a lower quality, they're going to start camping outside their butts, and can Liverpool break through the lines and break down those park buses?
That's where the set pieces come in, bro. That's where the set pieces come in. We have to be lethal in set pieces, because if you look at our set pieces, they're appalling at the moment. Trent is taking and Robertson is taking, but they're not finding anyone. We need a specialist in that area that could deliver the balls for those 2 centre backs, and you know, the Jotas of this world, the Manes of this world, who could head the ball as well. So that's what we need to look at. Like, we need set piece specialists that actually can find those passes, like from the corners and the free kicks. So I've always stated that I like Robertson and Trent taking set pieces, but in certain, like, if they keep doing it on a regular, it just gets boring, Laser. You see it for yourself in the Brentford game. It was just going nowhere.
Yeah. I agree. Before we go into the next topic, we're going to take a little promo, and we'll be back in a tick. So yes, people, welcome back to Let's Talk Liverpool, Liverpool Red Forever community channel. It's yours and truly, Mr. Laser, alongside Fuzzy, and our guest tonight, Patrick, true City fan. He's in the Manchester City corner, repping up their team. So, people, we're going to get back to some comments before we touch the next topic. We got to Maria, live and direct in the chat. She states, it was a solid performance. Liverpool learned from Brentford to not get complacent because they assumed they will win. That's correct. It was good to see Jones stood out, and Salah is on absolutely
Yoga fire.
That's right. He's on fire. I'm blamed. We got to everybody else in the chat as well. I'm just going to scan through some of these. I was shocked he hasn't scored, to be fair. Assuming to Jones, yes, he could have had a goal, but the assist and his performance more than made up for that. So, people, we're going to get on to the next topic now. And should we talk about Henderson? What do you want to go on, Fuzzy, or Roger Hunt, briefly?
Roger Hunt, we'll make a tribute at the end, mate.
Okay,
Then
so
again,
first,
it's fine.
yeah,
It's fine. It's fine,
first
mate.
and foremost, people, rest in peace to Sir Roger Hunt. Condolences goes out to his loved ones and family. We're just gonna have a 10-second silence. Yes, people, I thought that's necessary to do because he was one of Liverpool's major legends.
Yes,
Fuzzy,
sir.
I'm going to let him speak about it because it's a little bit before my time, but it's a sad passing in regards to Liverpool Football Club and the footballing world and community.
We've lost obviously a couple of players this season. Obviously, Ian St. John, Ian St. John and Hunt were the catalysts of Liverpool Football Club becoming what they are. The success started with them, with Bill Shankly obviously recruiting them as well. For those of you who don't know Roger Hunt is one of our leading strikers of all time. He scored like 244 goals in the league. I think it's the highest in the league. Rush's got the overall highest scorer, but Roger Hunt is the all-time league goal scorer. And like I said, the success started with him and Ian St. John. They both passed away this year. The 1965 FA Cup, they both contributed to that. They both scored, I believe, and that's where the success of Liverpool Football Club started. People have to pay tribute to players like this because without them, Liverpool Football Club is a nobody. I mean, so please, and not only that, Mr. Roger Hunt is a World Cup winner. If people don't know that, he was part of the 1966 World Cup. He hasn't got his Sir, but at Anfield, at Liverpool, we call him Sir because he deserves it. Because he deserves it.
Well said,
Thank
Fuzzy.
you,
Well said,
brother.
my brother, man. Well said, man.
Yeah.
So yes, people, we're going to move on to the next topic now, and we're going to talk about Mr. Jordan Henderson. His 400th game for Liverpool FC. Fuzzy, take it away, partner. Take it away.
Everybody knows Jordan Henderson. He came from Sunderland, and not a lot of people fancied him. Mr. Kenny Dalglish put him on the right side. He tried to use him at, if people remember the 80s at Liverpool Football Club, Ray Houghton. Ray Houghton was a central midfielder that was converted to a right winger. Not a right winger, but like inside right, and John Barnes was on the left side. Ray Houghton used to come from the right side and score a lot of goals from there, create a lot of goals. So Mr. Kenny Dalglish decided to do that with Jordan Henderson. It wasn't working out because everybody thought like he ain't doing the business, and then Kenny Dalglish obviously got sacked after the League Cup win and the FA Cup loss, and everybody was wondering what's going to be for Jordan Henderson when Brendan Rodgers came in. Brendan Rodgers came in and wanted to get rid of him to Fulham and get Clint Dempsey, as you remember, Mr. Laser. That was a wrong decision, as we all know. Lucky. We escaped that one. I'm
going to bury my head in the sand here.
Yeah.
I wanted the guilty ones.
And everybody knows the season 2013-14 season. I think it's 2014-13 season when we challenged for the title. He was a major part of it. He got injured in the latter stage of the season. Liverpool didn't look the same. Let's be honest here, because he was the heartbeat of that central midfield with Steven Gerrard and Coutinho. But when Henderson was missing, Liverpool didn't look right. We was conceding a lot of goals, and that's why we lost the league. I think he got sent off, didn't he? Not injured. I think he got sent off against Man City or someone. Yeah. So it showed like we missed him deeply in that central midfield, and it wasn't the same anymore. But to be honest, 400 games for Liverpool Football Club is a milestone, and it shows even with injuries he could have had more than that, but he's done well for Liverpool Football Club, and I'm proud of him. I was one of the ones who supported him when he first came, but eventually, you know, he came to his own. Gerrard handed over the captaincy to him, and even if Gerrard knew he was the best captain at the time when he was leaving, you can't really argue with that. Henderson, to me, has been the best captain in the Premier League era. Yes, Gerrard is great, but at least he's won the Premier League as a captain as well. So you've got to give him that credit. He might not be the best player, but he's the best captain in the Premier League era, in my opinion. Anyway, I don't know what you guys think, but
Jose, well said, Jordan Henderson. You know what, people? Why I was laughing earlier, right? Because I used to be one of Jordan Henderson's worst critics. When he came to Liverpool, he had a good season, his first season under Dalglish, A lot of people won't remember King Kenny signed him from Sunderland, and he was supposed to be this next promising player. He was criticised by our rival team's manager, Sir Alex Ferguson, saying he can't run and this, that, and that.
Yep.
But he's proved a lot of doubters wrong. And for me, he's growing with the maturity over the years. You've got to look back to, for me, when I started to see him coming to his own, was the 13-14 season. He was more in an advanced role in that season. Remember Fuzzy on the right-hand side, he was attacking, and he was instrumental with the link-up play with the SAS. A lot of people don't remember this, He had Sterling, Sturridge, and Suarez, and it was a lethal front three at the time. Different to the front three Liverpool have now. We were just scoring goals for fun. It was like school ground, park football, the way we was attacking. Bro. But Henderson was instrumental, and I believe we can't look for blends. A lot of people blame Gerrard, why we lost the league. It's a team effort. Defensively, Liverpool wasn't good enough that season. But I believe when he did get sent off against Manchester City, we lost something. Those remaining 3 games, something wasn't there. Joe Allen came in as a replacement, and he doesn't have the same bite and tenacity as Jordan Henderson. But guys, it wasn't meant to be. For all Liverpool fans, it was just one of those unfortunate turn of events. But Henderson, in the recent years, he was given the captaincy by Gerrard, and I feel like initially it may have came a bit too soon. There was a lot of pressure on his shoulders. Can he replicate? Can he fill Gerrard's boots? But for me, they're 2 different players, and I feel like a lot of the fan base,
it's unfair.
It's unfair putting that pressure on him. It was unfair. He didn't deserve that.
And not being from the area as well, as you remember, exactly. Like a lot of people were having a go about that. Like, he's not a Scouser, why should he be a captain? You know what I mean? That shouldn't come into. Graham Souness wasn't a Scouser. You know what I mean? Kenny. So. But carry on, bro. Carry on, bro.
Yeah. No, it's okay, Fuzzy. But for me, he's a leader. As someone saying in the comments here, big up to Aziz, on and off the pitch, the amount he does for charity, he's a role model, and he's so vocal and instrumental in that dressing room area. A lot of the players look up to him, and I just feel in recent years, when we won that Champions League, you saw the joy, the emotion, the euphoria, the ecstasy, how much it meant to him winning. You saw the tears. The way he went up to his father and hugged him, how he looks up to Jurgen Klopp. Not many players does that, he looks up to him like a second father figure, if that makes sense. The way he always embraces him with the hugs, looks into his face and stuff like that. I just think he's a very good player that doesn't get the plaudits he deserves. Yes, he's not fancy. He's not Spanish player and he's not fancy. And one thing that's missing from his locker, I would say, is the goals. Sometimes when he takes a shot, I got my head in my hands and thinking, why? You just know he's not going to score, but there is time when he surprises us. And we think, wow.
Top corner, bam.
This against Milan. You remember Fuzzy only scored against
Milan? We was
exactly.
there, people.
And sometimes he can do it, but Jordan Henderson, I think once he retires from the game, that's when a lot of our fan base will realise, I think, you know what? He was a very good player. In his own right, as I've stated many times before, he isn't silky smooth. He doesn't have the trickery, and all the fancy skills, and he scores bounces from here.
Bro,
let's say like Lampard, for example.
You've just hit the nail on the head, bro. Like, let me ask you a question, Busquets doesn't do a lot. Busquets doesn't do much for Barcelona. Not many people notice him in the games. But in my opinion, Henderson does more. He creates goals. He takes shots from outside the box. He runs up and down that pitch. So what's the difference between them two? Like, why don't they rate? Is it because he's English? They don't rate him?
I think so.
I mean, if he was a foreigner, they would have bragged about this guy. Come on, you know that, Laser.
If his name was Jordan Henderson, he would be
Hawaiian Henderson.
He's from the northeast of England, Sunderland, and he's a bit, to some people, a bit bland and vanilla. That's why. He doesn't have a big personality when he's conducting his interviews, but it's who he is. He knows his limits on the pitch. For me, he knows his limits. And I feel like under the Klopp tenure and reign in the last 6 years, he's been a vital cog in that engine, along with Gini Wijnaldum, that sadly been moved on. I believe that, and I believe we won't have won, let's say, the Champions League or Premier League without them. We may not have actually won it because a lot of the dirty work and stuff he does goes unnoticed. Don't forget, he also does a lot of defensive work as well. Trent Alexander-Arnold, he bails him out. A lot of that, he's tracking back, he's second to none. A lot of people don't realise that when we're watching the game. They're just focusing on the attacking side and the mistakes that our defenders make, like Trent. I feel like he comes for a lot of unfair stick as well at times. We know Trent's suspect, but I think people focus on that aspect. But Henderson, for me, is phenomenal in the role that he plays, and he's one of the best skippers, like one of the commenters said.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna get to that. Big up Termina B as well. Big up Termina. Termina B, best skipper in the Premier League, and nobody could say nothing to our captain.
Nope.
They can't say shit to him. Yes,
Nope.
I said that
Nope.
word. It's after hours.
It's
now,
after
people.
hours, bro.
Champions League winner, Premier League winner,
World
World
Cup.
Cup winner.
Super
He's
Cup.
done it all. You know what I mean? He's even like
Only one trophy missing. Only one trophy missing in his cabinet in club
FA Cup.
level, FA Cup. That's it.
Yep.
And he's completed the set in club
That's
level.
right.
He could have won the Euros. He could have won the Euros as well. Don't forget, people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Les, you're
Yeah.
100% right about Henderson, mate. I've always said it. People need to like take the blinkers off sometimes. You know what I mean? Stop living in the past. That's why Liverpool don't progress, in my opinion, because we keep living in the past. We have to move on from things like this. You know what I'm saying? Give these current players the respect they deserve. They've done everything you asked for and more, but they don't get the respect they deserve. I think it's time. It's high time people woke up and give them respect, Blazer. I don't know what you think, brother.
100%, man. We're going to get to some commenters now. We've got a lot to cover tonight. We may be going extra time tonight, guys. So if you want to stick around, let us know and get active in the chat, man. It's Thursday and tomorrow's going to be Friday. Yes, people. I know. Hype tonight. You know me already. Man, hype. Let it out, Fuzzy. Let it out, bro. It's Thursday night. And we got a massive game on the weekend. So let's get to the commenters. Jordanino. Great show. Starting from the bottom today. Yes, Marianne, as is agree with you guys about Hendo. I think everybody is in agreement with what we're saying. He's a true leader and loyal. Far more integrity than Kane, in my opinion, especially in light of Kane's recent performances and the whole transfer saga. Correct there. And yes, he should captain England, leader on and off the pitch. So big up to everybody involved. Patrick, are you still with us? He's going to be on audio for the remainder of the show.
No problem.
Yeah, I am with you. I'm just.
As a opposing fan, Patrick, on Mr. Jordan Henderson for Liverpool.
Look, for me, there's always has to be a player who doesn't have to be in the spotlight, right? We have Fernandinho, we have Henderson, we have Fabinho, even Fabinho from you guys, Rodri. You see, these are the defensive sort of minded midfielders. They have no flair as we keep. You see, this is why I keep bringing back this laser. People admire the midfielders that are full of these fancy passes, but they forget that somebody in the team has to do the dirty work for De Bruyne to look good, for Thiago to look good. Do you know what I mean? For Salah not to track back, Henderson has to do the dirty job. Like Genie, I was very disappointed that Liverpool fans were happy that Gene. Some Liverpool fans I know were happy that Genie is leaving. That was bad. The guy was a servant for the club, you know, servant for the club. Him and Henderson won you that Champions League, and you're right about that. You need a workhorse. So I respect him for that, and I was very disappointed myself, even though I'm not from England, when they took the England captain's band away from Henderson.
Yeah, that's awful.
And gave it to Kane for what? I don't see why they gave it to Kane anyway. So respect to the guy, man. And even Vincent Kompany said if there is captains he respects in the Prem, it was Henderson.
There you go.
Yeah, well said, bro. Well said. Agree with that. Fuzzy, do you want to see if there's some commenters up and about?
There's so many, bro. We lost where we are. I wish I could bloody go on it. Where are we anyway? I don't even remember.
I actually did it the other way around today. I think there's some from Andrew Stevens. If you just want to fly through some related to this topic.
Man, so let's just put John. Obviously, we haven't done John. Good evening, everyone. Obviously, hi, John. Obviously, one of our regulars, and Joe Powell. Let me go down all the way down and start from there, and I go back up. Yeah, is that all right? Yes. Right, there we go. And yes, he should have been England captain. Maria says, of course, he deserves it. I mean, and you got to think about it. Some player. England, I don't know where it is with England, man. This is why we don't develop in this country, Laser. Because we make the wrong decisions on a continuous basis. You know what I mean? On merit, Henderson should have been the captain for England, but he didn't get it. That's why I don't understand either.
There should have been no question about it with his leadership qualities and his one things as well and experience.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know what makes me laugh? They say every time there's arguments, people go to Henderson. So remember that time when him and Gomez had the argument? It was Henderson who sorted that out. So everybody keeps saying Henderson this, Henderson that. And yet you give it, like I have nothing against Harry Kane, but I just think Henderson is more vocal. The same thing why I have nothing against Diaz being our captain, because De Bruyne is not vocal. So there's some people who are just born leaders, and it was Henderson. So I'm surprised by Southgate's decision to pick Harry Kane, or if it was the players, whoever. But the players would have picked Henderson because all of them keep talking about Henderson. Henderson sorted this out in the camp. Henderson did this. Henderson put us together for racism. Do you know what I mean? It's always Henderson.
Exactly, bro.
So yeah, so I don't know anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But big up to everybody, we're gonna move on now. Should we move on fast?
Let's move on, bro.
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
So before we get stuck into the Manchester City versus Liverpool blockbuster game, some people are calling it an early title decider this weekend. We're going to talk about one more Liverpool player, an upcoming Liverpool player, and his name is Curtis Jones.
Oh, no.
So, people,
Who's that? Who's that for Laser? Who's that?
What do you mean, who's that? He's the equivalent of Phil Foden for Liverpool. That's right. You know it. So basically, people, where's Fuzzy? I can't find you. You've come off stream, bro. You back?
Yeah, I think his stream went. Doesn't must be
I had to hide.
Oh.
Let me
Hold on a moment. I know what he's in here. Let me the skin. You, Fuzzy, deserve a telling off live on there.
I need a slap.
We're going to get onto this, guys. We're going to touch up on this now. Let's bring him back in because he deserves all the plaudits for his magnificent, stellar performance against FC Porto. One of our own, Mr. Curtis Jones. Now, for me, that was so good. His performance, it showed so much maturity.
Yes,
and I
sir.
feel like what happened with Curtis Jones now, he had a good start to the season last year. You know, he was brought in on the back end of the season when we won the Premier League title and he was given a medal. And I feel like it may have come too soon and he got a little bit too big for his boots, a little bit too cocky and complacent. There was a lot of complacency in his play for me, and the defensive side. What brings back to my mind, and a lot of Liverpool's minds, will be the game against West Bromwich Albion.
Yes.
Remember, I think it was Boxing Day, if I'm right, 2020. And we drew that game 1-1. Now, to a lot of Liverpool fans, it came like a defeat in that game. And we went downhill from there. And I think after that, his confidence had dropped. He received so much abuse and stick on Twitter. He wasn't the same player for me. He was in and out of the team. And then now, we've had the re-emergence of Harvey Elliott coming on the back of a splendid loan spell at Blackburn Rovers. And I think what Curtis Jones has done is sat back, took a long, hard look at himself in the mirror and thought, do I want to play for Liverpool FC? Because there was rumours about him being sent out alone.
I've been saying that myself, didn't I? I said that myself.
Yes, and I think he's woke up now and is showing what he's made of. There's still a lot to learn on the defensive side of the game for me, but he has the talent. He's a baller. He's got the skill and the quality to go far and have a great future at Liverpool. Fuzzy, take it away, bro.
First and foremost, I'd like to say I'm sorry to Mr. Curtis Jones. I did say a lot of bad things about him because, you know, whenever he's in the team, Liverpool either, draw or lose, and we concede a lot of goals. Okay, he learned from his mistakes in the last game. Yes, he defended well, and he got involved in 5 goals. All 5 goals! How the hell can a midfielder do that? Yes. I've said it before. I said he needs to go out alone. He needs to learn how to, defend and become a leader on the pitch. But I think under Klopp, he's gonna be there. We don't need to loan him out. He's starting to come on his own. And like Laser said, since Harvey Elliott has been in the team, I think he's finally the penny's dropped. The penny's dropped, and now he's realizing that a lot of people are doubting me, my ability, and I need to start working as a team, not an individual kind of player, but as a team, in order for me to stay in this team. And now he's doing that. And the sky is his limit, and I hope he does it because obviously he's a local lad as well, and we're right behind the local lads. Listen, he proved me wrong. I take it as a man, and I'm glad he done it.
Well said, Fuzzy. Well said, bro. Big up to yourself. Big Yes, we're going to get some more commenters up. Big up to backwards, a.k.a. Maria. She says, you are forgiven, Buzz. Many of us have questioned his abilities. That's why we're all guilty of it. As he's saying an apology, laughing out loud. However, once Harvey and Thiago is back, he may not get as much gameplay, and he has to prove that to the gaffer, Jurgen Klopp. He has to prove to his doubters and to the team, I'm a player here to stay. I've got the qualities to be a part of this team and squad. He has to do that. And I think, like I said, he's had a look at himself and think, you know what, I've got to show it now. I've got to show my qualities, because Liverpool FC, we have so many good players at our disposal. There's not room for everyone there. You know, like Thiago's out, Harvey Elliott's out. You know, we look like we're going to sign another player. There's talk about this Bissouma business doing the rounds in January. You know, it's been doing the rumours for a while now. And he has to, you know, show everyone he's got the quality to be a part of this team. Definitely. Big up to Turf Morehouse TV, the Burnley man, Fuzzy and Laser. Better than Ant and Deck.
Who are they? Who are they?
Back on the show soon. We're gonna get you on UFT because we want
Biker Grove. Biker Grove. Hey!
You want to imagine we're showing our age here? I think Maria knows this one as well. Sing that song what they used to have in the chart.
Oh God, I like that one. Biker Grove.
Liverpool addiction. If you're addicted to drugs related to Liverpool, check out this young fella, Sonny. Big up to the best you on YouTube. You know what, guys? We appreciate these nice comments, man. It means a lot to us, man.
It means a lot.
I can't stop winning now. I've got to just compress my face in a bit because it's just. Big up to yourself, man. What? How would I know before my time? Biker Grove used to rush after school and the BBC one.
That and Grange Hill. Bloody hell.
Focus now. We are losing focus. So, we're going to bring back in a guest. He can't be on screen. He's going to be doing it via audio. And we're going to talk about the blockbuster game. That's been one of the main games of the Premier League for the last 4 seasons. Not Liverpool versus Manchester United, not Liverpool versus Chelsea, not Liverpool versus Arsenal or blah, blah, blah. It's Liverpool versus Manchester City.
Laser. This needs one thing. This needs one thing for it. Of course, it needs the introduction, that beautiful, promo you set up, bro.
But yeah, man, I'm enjoying the show tonight. I'm really enjoying it.
It's been good. It's been good, bro.
We've done 50 minutes, so big up to everybody locked in and locked on. Appreciate that, people. So we're going to talk about Liverpool versus Manchester City. As I said, these are the 2 top teams currently in the Premier League. The heights, the standard they've set, reaching almost 100 points. Manchester City, in fact, did reach 100 points in 2018. Liverpool had 97 points and 99 points and 98 points. No other teams have come close to them points totals and breaking records left, right, and center. That's right, bro.
Where's that Yukin?
Okay. So what's been happening? Liverpool and Manchester City have been going. So you can. And they'll also be doing to other teams. Hadouken! For those that know, Street Fighter 2. But anyway, guys, we're on a hype tonight. We're not lose focus. We're going to get back into the topic. And what we're going to do, we're going to start differently. And we're going to go to our guest, Mr. Patrick from True City Fancy.
Yeah, what's up, yeah.
Drop him a like and check out his platform and subscribe to his channel. So, Patrick, what is your thoughts on Liverpool versus Man City this week? And how do you see between the both teams in the last 4 years or so? Pep Guardiola versus Klopp and the team in general. Take it away, Patrick.
I think it started off with Klopp being the dominant one. I'm not talking about obviously in Germany. I'm talking about in England. I say Klopp being the dominant one in the games. It looked like Pep couldn't figure out Klopp and couldn't figure out that Liverpool team, the high intensity, the pressing. Just that team was built. That team was just built to win the Champions League. That's what I say. That team was built to win big games. That's what they were doing. But somehow things started changing and the games became like the first games. I didn't think the first games were high intensity. It's when we started with the one with the nil, or the one Mars sent the ball to Mars. Remember? That's the
Yes,
one.
of course,
That's yeah. That's I don't know. That's one of the best Man City games and Liverpool games I've ever seen. The intensity, the high level. I'm pretty sure all the players in the league sat down and started watching that and said, "Wow, what are we gonna do with these two guys?" Then you guys came to Man City again, and it was a game that had to also. I'm just talking about these are the games I thought they were high intensity. Then we both had to win. Either you guys win or we win to get over the other. The one that ended 2-1.
Yeah.
Another high intensity game. Then you guys came and beat us 3-1. Another high game, another big high game. But regardless, even that time, I think the only time I saw the game wasn't high intensity and all that good was the one we beat you 4-1 and you guys seemed hangover. That one I wasn't impressed. I don't know if it's only me.
We just won the Premier League title, the 4-0.
Yeah.
That was a
So,
game. Sorry, Patrick,
I
that was
wasn't-
no intensity in that game. For me.
yeah.
What is it? The one at Anfield you're talking about? You guys talking
Yeah,
about
did
the
you
one at
guys
Anfield?
did you
Yeah,
hear
Foden
what I
scored.
said? That's why I said I wasn't impressed by the quality because
Sorry,
I
my
was
apologies.
no, don't worry, I wasn't throwing a dig. I always see that game as I wasn't impressed by the quality. The only thing I knew was the City players came with a vendetta, and the Liverpool players came with let's just play this game for the sake of playing. But we came with we're here for revenge because I think they were in pain. They were in so much pain. So, but bring it back to that game now, the one where we drew. Remember? That was last season. The first one. Yeah, the first one. We
first
drew
one, yeah.
before the other one. Amazing quality again. Very intense quality. Even though that other game where we won by a lot, I still don't count it again as impressive. You know why? Because Liverpool were weakened. You know what I mean? I don't like playing against Liverpool in that week. I think I enjoy when all of you are at full strength, we're at full strength, and we play. So, look, the games have been better than El Clasico right now. So, El Clasico is not compared to Liverpool and Man City have been higher level. There's no... Please, tell us, anybody in the comments, who you think versus has been better than Liverpool and City for the past season since Klopp and Pep came in. I think
Nobody.
that's how it's been, yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah, nobody. It's just two teams at the peak of their powers, and they're showing that. They've been showing it for the last few years. We're gonna get some quick commenters up. I think everybody's still laughing their heads off, bro, with the biker growth business. You got to study the Liverpool addiction. We'll skate backwards, Maria. Predicts 3-0 to Liverpool. We do want you to get involved and drop us your predictions in the chat. Big up to Theo Woods LFC. Big up to yourself, Theo Woods. People go and check him out. He's a young Liverpool content creator.
100%.
Are either of you heading down to Anfield for the game? Now, there's a couple of things for me. The current petrol shortage.
Are you going to...
People are fighting me. I'm not going to petrol stations. I'm not going to petrol stations.
Listen, don't you blame us. It's not our fault. I bet you about
Now, Theo, I don't know if it's going to happen, unfortunately, because it's a 200 and so mile round trip for me coming from the 0121 Birmingham. I have to save my petrol for other things. I'd love to get down there, but if everything's all right, I should be going down there to do content and represent the Liverpool Red Forever community. It's got to be done. And me and Fuzzy will let you know our schedule for the
We've
next
got a big
Liverpool
schedule
game.
coming. Yeah,
Massive schedule.
this year.
Theo
And then
was
next year
predicting
afterwards,
2-1
yeah.
victory to Liverpool. But we're going to get back to all of that after. What we're going to do now, big, massive points there by yourself, Patrick. Well said. Really appreciate your thoughts and opinions. We're going to add this to the screen. And we're going to talk about the last head-to-heads between the both teams now. So I'm not sure if you can see that. I'm going to try and scroll
I can, yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can.
So, okay. So, get all the top bit. We're going to go to the recent stuff, the Premier League.
Yeah.
You know, we know it's all about being the last few years between Liverpool
Of course.
and Manchester City. And this is no banter, Patrick. I have to throw this in. Manchester City were lagging before 2008, you know. Championship football.
You know what?
Sorry,
Do you know what, Les? I thought for a minute there about the oil. You're going to blame Man City for the oil, lack of oil.
We got to everybody. It's been a cracking night tonight, man.
I loved it, mate.
You're gonna let your hair down, have fun, and just come with the talk. This is Let's Talk LFC episode 20. So, people, last season now, Liverpool lost to Manchester City by 4-1. Now, this was coming at a period when Liverpool was at the worst they've ever been in one of their club histories. In about 60 years or so, there was on a consecutive run of 60 defeats.
6 games. 6 games.
If you want to take this one away from me, because for me personally, without being big-headed, when I look back on the game, it was pretty even up until Alisson made the mistake.
Alisson just lost the plot, mate. He lost the plot, and he gave them the chances to score, and they dominated the game from that time. Listen, people, what? I know I say listen a lot. I don't know why I say that, but you are listening, obviously. That game. Listen, with City, they did the second half. Listen, they done a bit. They have dominated the game in the second half. We was like lagging a bit as well. Sometimes you got to look into the actual situation we're in. There's no excuses. Man City were a better team on the day. We had to come back into the game. I'm not looking for excuses like Alisson's fault or anything like that. He did lose the plot, and then he gave them the goals, and etc, etc, etc. But sometimes you got to look into the season we had as well. We wasn't really doing well at home either. We lost like 6 consecutive games, like Laser said, in a row at home. So that came into it, and I think this game is going to be different. I think we're going to be more solid than that again this game. I think we're going to hopefully attack City more. I've got a feeling as well City will change their gameplay. I think they will go ultra defensive for them to counter-attack and get a goal, because they don't play with a striker. I don't know what you think, Patrick, because you haven't got a number 9 that gets you the goals, out and out goals. I think you might go...
What we're going to do is just touch upon some more of the previous results, between the teams, just in relation to this game. So just so we can paint a bit of a picture.
Yeah, of course, bro.
So in the season as well, the first encounter between the both sides, it ended 1-1 at the Etihad. Now, remember in that game, if I'm right, Trent Alexander-Arnold came off injured. If I'm right, I'm sure it was a player for Manchester City that came off injured. Can you remember that player, Patrick?
What's that again? Say there?
There was a player that was injured in the 1-1 draw last season, back on the 8th of November.
I don't think it's De Bruyne. Isn't De Bruyne the one who kicked, who was sort of kicking the ball? Then Jesus, no, he's the one who gave Jesus the assist. Remember for the 1-1.
Yes.
I don't remember who was it. Gundogan? Was it Gundogan?
Somebody was injured. It might have been Gundogan in that game. But going back before,
I don't.
Liverpool 4-0. After Liverpool were newly crowned Premier League champions. Let's be honest, people. Liverpool were absolutely wasted. All night long. So
excuses.
We're gonna give them a pass. And then before that, back in November, the year before, Liverpool beat Manchester City by 3-1. Absolutely dominant performance. I remember the game well. Liverpool showed their dominance and showed Manchester City and the rest of the Premier League that we're here to stay and we're going to win the title.
You got to look into it, guys. But you got to look into it. If you look at when both teams have their powers, like their first team, like first 11 and that, both teams, there ain't that many goals between them. Am I wrong, Patrick and Laser? There ain't that.
No, you're right about that. It's never a high-scoring game.
Yeah, when we've got the powers of like the players in the starting lineup, I don't think it's like 2-1, 1-1. And it's like that. There's never like a 4-0 or anything like that. There's always a goal in between.
Yeah, there's been a few flashes, but I'm going to skip some of them because we ain't got all night to talk about every game. And I noticed what I've seemed to notice between the two sides. For me, personally, once one of the teams scores first, they're the team that goes on to win the game. And the reason why I believe that, the other team has to chase, and it opens up gaps for the other team to counter on. I've noticed it when Liverpool scored first. We went on to win 3-1. When Manchester City's done it, they've went on to win the game. There's been a couple of draws in between. I remember the game that stands out for me, which was the game that was so intensive. And it was a game that was played like a do or die. It was almost like a final. January the 3rd, 2019, Manchester City 2, Liverpool 1, when that goal was millimeters away. Millimeters away from Liverpool becoming centurions, possibly, and invincibles
Yeah.
to winning that Premier League. And that still hurts me to this day. That game, if anybody wants to see two teams at the peak of their powers, go back and watch that game.
Is it the game? Is it the game? Company should have got sent off. Is it that game when he took out? He needed to cut out Salah.
And there was no VAR then, and I believe if VAR were to look back at that things could have been.
That was a fair tackle.
Oh my!
Anthony Taylor was given a brown envelope in that game. Anthony Taylor, the referee, was given an envelope full of blood.
Yeah, but it's good. But it's good. I think you know what? I think that time the ref did not want to destroy the game, but I think it was a bad foul. But it was too early. I think he was like, let me not. Because if he took our company, I don't think we're gonna see the game we saw that day. You know.
What a game! What a game!
I agree
Leroy Sané scored the winner, didn't he? Leroy Sané scored the winner.
He did,
we had nothing in defense. It was an amazing game. You know, watch that game back, and Liverpool actually dominated Manchester City at the Etihad. We were actually taking against the City in the second half. That goal between Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robertson. And then flicking over, and then Firmino getting his head. You could just see the passage of play developing right in front of your eyes. And I just have regret that Liverpool didn't play out for the draw. Did it be so open? The City came back. It was almost like City knew. It was the reverse for me. Because if you go back, Liverpool, that was Liverpool's only defeat in that season. Their first defeat. Rewind 12 months prior, and Liverpool destroyed Manchester City's invincible record. We were beating them 4-3 at Anfield. And almost like Manchester City knew they had to win that game, and it enabled Manchester to become 4 points behind within Liverpool. If Liverpool won that game, I think we would have went 7 points clear. Or 10 points clear, actually. 10 points clear. And a lot of people wrote Manchester City off at that period. And then Man City went on to win 14 consecutive Premier League games. However, there was a defeat thrown in there to Newcastle, and Liverpool was going to be given a reprieve. And then we all know the story. Liverpool had 2 many draws, and Manchester City ended up with
Leicester at home
by 1 point, people. That's how good these two teams were. We're talking about.
I honestly think if there was VAR in there, I think we would have won that league that season. Especially that Leicester game when Keita got fouled in the box, and Maguire stayed on the pitch to score a goal when he took out Mane on the way to the goal. You know what I mean? He should have been sent off. So it shows like football, like you said in the beginning, when it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And at that moment, it wasn't our time. And fortunately, we became champions eventually.
Well said. So we're going to go to the current day now. And as it stands at the moment, Liverpool are top of the table with a point more than Manchester City. So Patrick, how do you think your team, Manchester City and Pep Guardiola, what would they be thinking on the back of Manchester City's recent struggles for goal? Because let's be honest, Manchester City, although they dominated Chelsea, they found it very hard to get the breakthrough. And the game before that, they suffered a blank against Southampton. And as we know, they didn't score any goals against PSG. So what would Pep Guardiola think, having seen Liverpool scoring goals for fun? Because let's be honest, in recent games, Liverpool have been scoring goals left, right and centre. Do you think Pep Guardiola would adopt a defensive strategy or take the game to Liverpool? Take it away, Patrick.
I think people, I think, should also recognize this. These also have also recognized this. I was saying this myself, that for us to have a chance in this too early title case, it's too early. But for you to have a chance this season, you have to take points off the big boys. You have to. That's why I was even welcoming a draw against Chelsea. I think the Liverpool, the Man City players, they usually turn up in these moments where they see somebody who they're scared of, especially like Liverpool and Chelsea, that these are the guys who we have to take out. I think you've noticed this. Every time we have to take out somebody, that's when you see the at the peak. Take out somebody. The only thing I'm worried about is with Salah, right? Because it's going to be like the Messi thing where we dominate the game. If we don't take our chances against Liverpool or get that lucky deflection, as Chelsea fans keep telling us, are we going to win that game, or do it end up as a draw, or Liverpool, Salah will take one chance and he'll finish it? So I think they're gonna be up for this, especially even after they lost against PSG. But I think their minds are more on Liverpool. I would say, of course. City fear. Those City players, I think, take it more personal. Guys. And none other than Bernardo Silva. He seems like he takes everything personal. These Portuguese players, they seem like they take things too personal. So for me, I think City are going to play that game. They're going to dominate. There's not going to be back the bus. I think it's going to be end to end. Take possession of the ball. Make sure Liverpool don't press you out of the game. If they press you, make sure you're sharp at passing the ball. Because what I've noticed is every time we play good against you guys is when we're not sloppy with the passes.
Yeah.
Because if you're sloppy with the passes with Liverpool, they'll counter you. And trust me, when they're in transition, there's no better team than Liverpool. They will get at you. And as soon as that ball falls to Salah, it's either hitting the post or going to the back of the net. So I think City are going to come to control this game, are going to try their best. I think they're trying to say, you know what, let's take points away from Chelsea and Liverpool. I don't know if it makes sense to you guys. Even Liverpool right now should be thinking that let's take points from Chelsea, Man City, like the guys around you, take points away from them. And that's what I think. I think we're still going to go with the aggressive side because sometimes Pep doesn't know any other way to play but aggressive.
Agree with what you're saying, Patrick. I really do, and I believe Pep Guardiola. Look, they know how Liverpool can play. We can counter, we can defend, we can press high up the pitch, and I believe they see Liverpool as one of the biggest threats, along with Chelsea. Chelsea probably come a close second, but they would know if Liverpool were to beat Manchester City and handedly as well. Let's say they get a comprehensive victory, Liverpool could possibly run away with it, and I believe Pep Guardiola would do all he can in his power to stop that from happening, even if it's a draw, because if Liverpool get the momentum going into this international break, yes, we know it's only going to be 4 points clear if Liverpool get the 3 points, and as Manchester City could claw that back any day of the week, but it's more the psychological advantage to me. It's more that aspect mentally. Liverpool and Manchester City are rivals in regards to the Premier League title. These are the teams that have won it in the last 4 years. They've shared the Premier League title. So it's going to be a big game. It's come a bit early for me, but it's sort of a pre-title decider, if you want to call it that, because let's say Manchester City turn up to Anfield and beat Liverpool handedly, which Manchester City are more than capable of doing. Then that lays a marker down, coming off the back of beating Chelsea as well, the so-called big European champions. You know what I'm saying? So if Manchester City could beat 2 top teams back-to-back, that sends a message to the rest of the Oh my God, Manchester City, here we go again. And everybody knows Manchester City are more than capable of putting a string of 10 consecutive wins together. They are. Let's be honest, guys. And for me, as a Liverpool man, here now, live and air, it's imperative. I don't want to hear people saying, oh, we've lost and we can do this and that. We do not lose that game. We do not lose that game on Sunday. For me, personally, we take the game to Manchester City. I want to see our boys rock up there and say, no, we're not scared of you. We're not scared of you. We're as good as you. Yes, we might have certain players out, X, Y, and Z, but we are as good as you. And I want to see Liverpool press, have so much intensity, desire, commitment, hunger. That's it, Fuzzy. Hunger, and take the game to Manchester City. But pick the moments as well. Be very careful, because we know Manchester City are more than capable of putting the ball through between the lines. Kevin De Bruyne is one of the best at doing that. And before you know it, the 1-0 up, and then we're chasing the game.
Who's out for Liverpool? Who's out for Liverpool? If you don't mind me asking.
Thiago and Trent, I think, so far.
Yeah, Trent will be out. Trent Alexander will be out. He will be out.
Thiago.
That's a big loss, man.
Yeah.
No.
Milner's been doing all right. Yeah.
Saying that regarding Trent, let us know in the comments, people. I can still see a good amount of you watching. So get active, please, people. For me, this may be a different story with Trent being out, because the reason why I say this, and I remember all those battles Trent used to have with Sane, you pick on Trent. A lot of people keep bullying Trent and targeting. And maybe this could work in our favour. Milner has got the experience and the discipline. Yes, his legs has gone. And in terms of football years, he's a granddad in the football world, coming on to 36 years of age. But with him and Henderson as well, I believe Henderson will be helping him on that side. And I don't think we will be as pressing as high. We will pick our moments. What do you think about that, Fuzzy, with the absence of Trent? Because we're not going to be able to attack and getting up and down the pitch as much as we would have done with him in the side. Milner doesn't offer that stamina and quality.
No. Listen, you got to give Milner a chance. At the end of the day, he's done no wrong since he's been playing at right back position.
Of course,
Palace and I believe Porto, he played as a right back. So both games he's been outstanding, and he's been probably one of the man of the matches in both games as well. I don't know if he's gonna start. It could be a tight game. We need to keep it tight at the back. They could throw Gomez there and play Milner in the middle due to injuries as well. Don't forget about that, people. That could actually happen. But you got to think about it this way. This game is a Titanic game, and if people can say it's not like a title decider, but it could be. You know what I mean? It's all about confidence at the end of the day, people. Like when you beat your rivals and you beat your rivals convincingly, that shows to the rest of the Premier League you're here to stay. And that Brentford game last week, I think, woke up a lot of Liverpool players, and I think we're gonna go all out. If you look at the Man City 11 and you look at Liverpool 11, if we're all fully fit, I think we're superior to them. But the only thing is they pass the ball for far too long and they waste the minutes with passing the ball. So in order for us to get in this game, we need to close them down early. Don't give them the gaps they always look for. Because I've seen when City lose games, when they win their games, it's because of gaps appearing in the midfield and the back line. If we plug those gaps and make sure we don't concede a lot of possessions and for them to find their players, I think we'll be fine. They lost to Tottenham in the beginning of the season. What did Tottenham do? They man-marked the players. They pushed forward. They made sure Man City went back. That's what we need to do. That's how we're going to win this game. You got to look at the personnel. I don't know what you think, Patrick. Like, I used to fear when you used to have the Yaya Torres of this world, the Silvas of this world, etc. These kind of names, and Aguero out front. Now you look at Man City, there's no fear in those players. I honestly think with Man City, they're living in past reputations because Jack Grealish, since he's been there, he hasn't been setting the world on fire. He slows the team down. There's no pace and power like Sané and Sterling anymore on the wings. So we can control this game, Laser. We can show people that we're here to compete this season, especially with the players coming back from injury. And listen, we have to win this game. There's no other way of going about it. We've the pass that we had earlier in the season, we've let ourselves down in the previous game in the league. So this game, if we win it, I think it sends out a message to the rest of the Premier League that Liverpool is back and we're here to stay.
Yes, 100%. We're going to get to some comments before we touch up more on that. So big up to Aziz. I think it's relating to the previous game I mentioned back 3 years ago when we lost 2-1 at the Etihad. Yeah, we would have won the title. What a season that was, though. That was an absolutely roller coaster.
Roller coaster, bro.
Every game was nail biters. Every single game. I never, ever will forget that season. My days, man. If you'd have seen me, I wasn't a content creator in them days. If you thought I'm bad now, you should have seen me dead. It was just crazy, man. Oh, my God. What a ride it was. And, winning that Champions League made up for it, man. Oh, my days. It was amazing. But, yeah, big up to Sonny. That season against Arsenal, we drew 1-1 at the Emirates, and we had a goal wrongly disallowed. I remember that. VAR would have saved us if I'm right. That goal came from Mane. Yeah. If I'm right, yes. Because Milner scored the goal in that game, the opening game. Yep. And then Lacazette equalised. We cannot lose this game, States Maria. We will be fine with Mr. Ribena, man. James Milner. And without Thiago, Thiago's been out injured loads too. And the team are kind of used to playing without him. I agree with that, I do.
I think with that Thiago, we're a working man's team, bro. We work harder, if you know what I mean. With him, when he's in the middle, it's all possession based kind of game. But with Thiago, it's like the old days. We've gone back to the Liverpool of a couple of years ago. We're working hard.
Yeah, correct there, bro. Correct, man. I do agree with that. So, same subject. Should the same team, and let us know in the comments, people, there's a lot of Liverpool people in the comments and the chat, should the same team that started against FC Porto start against Manchester City? Fuzzy,
yes, sir.
What's your thoughts on that?
I agree because it kept a consistency in the team as well. That's the same team that started against Brentford minus Trent Alexander-Arnold. So I'm hoping to be the same team. The league. Let me go back. The season we won the league, How did we win the league? It's because we was consistent in the 11. So we need to go back to that. If we keep chopping and changing, it will confuse the players on the pitch. You know, like, oh, 1 minute I'm playing with this guy, next minute I'm playing with this guy, and this.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like that. It should be consistency in the team so we can compete throughout the season. Yes, players might get injured, but they will get injured even if they don't play. We already seen that in training sessions. So I think we got to like stick with the same team. They are winning. So until something dramatic happens to them, stick with the same team, I'll say.
Yeah, I agree with that. There was some people saying if Trent, returned back from the injury, he was slot back in at right back, and then maybe we could put Milner in the midfield, returning back to the workman-like midfield.
Yeah.
From this year. Remember him, Chinny and Henderson. And I feel like some of the games, it didn't quite work. We didn't have that creativity that was needed in these magnitude of games. But for me, I believe on the form of Curtis Jones, yes, he wasn't too great against Brentford in the defensive aspect of the game. For me, he has to start. I think it gives a curveball to Pep Guardiola and Manchester City, because if we put Milner back in there, they're going to know what to expect. I just think at the moment, he's at the peak of his powers. He'll be on the crest of a wave, scoring that belter against Brentford. And he had a wonderful game. A lot of Europe was talking about his performance against Porto, And for me, I would go with him, Mr. Captain Fantastic, and Fab as usual at the base. And I don't want to see Jurgen Klopp try to get too clever, because if you go back to the game against Manchester City, the first encounter last season at the Etihad, 1-1. If you remember, he tried to play 4 up top. And for me,
Firmino, Mane, Salah, and Jota.
Well, it was a bit different, man. And for me, just start the same team that started against Porto. We have the option of Firmino coming off the bench, and I feel in recent games, it's worked good for us in having that creativity. 60th minute or so, the last 30 minutes, to bring him
Laser, let me put something out there for you, brother. Let me put something out there. What were we like complaining in the beginning of the season about Liverpool? What were we complaining about? What was the major thing we was complaining about?
Squad attacking options off the bench.
If we're complaining about that, so why is our manager playing like we've got the squad? We haven't got the squad. The first 11 that's fit should always play. You know what I mean? So that's what we've got to think about. I want to like challenge for the title. I don't want to like get away from that, man. So play as much as you can, and then we'll see where we're gonna go from there. Let's let Patrick speak before he goes.
He's gonna head off now. Yeah. So Patrick, what would you do now? I know we spoke about it earlier, and how would you see the game going down in the opening stages? Because in previous encounters, we're gonna have our 12th member, the Anfield crowd back, roaring the boys on. And we know Liverpool used to start rapidly fast, and Manchester City sometimes couldn't cope with it. They were gassed out of it. So how do you see it going down in the initial stages of the game, Patrick?
As I said, I think at first we used to fear you guys a lot. I mean, like the fear caused a bit nerves. I think that fear is a bit gone now. I think now they fear you in a way that you're a challenge. You know what I mean? Bernardo Silva is going to be key if he plays this. You know already what he's going to do in that midfield. He's going to run for days. So whoever you have in midfield, which I said Gini and Henderson are key for you guys, because they used to run with Bernardo Silva. Now you have no Henderson. You have Henderson, but you have no Gini. I don't know who has legs again in that midfield. So maybe Milner has to go if the legs are still there. So you might be right. You might need workhorses, because with Bernardo Silva, I think I was impressed to see him outrun Kante, which you don't do. You know what I mean? You don't do that. Like, you don't do that at all. Like,
I think Kante was taken off afterwards, wasn't he? He was
and Bernardo Silva, and I think Pep told Bernardo Silva, wherever Kante goes, you go. He was with him. Wherever he goes, he's with them. So what I'm saying is, this is, as always, for City and Liverpool, it always gets one in midfield, and it also gets one who is clinical. But nowadays, I think it's midfield. So I don't know what your midfield is. Maybe Curtis Jones will be good because he's young, full of energy. For me, guys, I'm telling you, people are joking themselves. It's either this goes sideways for Liverpool or City. We know ourselves. One of us has a bad day, the other one will take advantage and pounce on you. Or this will be one of those draw games, and people will be disappointed and start. The rival fans always complain, "Oh, it was overrated." No, it's not overrated. It's that it was high quality football, and that's what it is. So, look, for me, I've never seen a draw or one of the teams winning, maybe by a narrow, but if one of the teams don't show up, it's going to be bad for the other team. For us, I think we're going to play the same team that played against Chelsea. I don't know if he's still going to give the opportunity to Grealish, but I know he's not going to drop Jesus, because it looks like Jesus and Foden undroppable right now because when they came in against PSG, Foden already made 3 chances just within a few minutes. So I think Jesus and Foden will play this. I'm just wondering that is Grealish going to be finally dropped because he had a bad game of PSG, or Pep is going to say that was just him having a second Champions League game and maybe he was getting used to things. But I wanted also to tell this to Fozzy. Fozzy, don't forget that obviously on this channel I don't want to say that game again, but don't forget Grealish, what he did, So shout out to Grealish.
Oh my god, you're going back to the 7-2 again. You're going.
No, I'm not. No, you mentioned it. Please don't mention it. Don't mention it.
Oh,
Good night.
come
Night.
on. It was a day off.
Anyway, guys, thanks for having me. I'm gonna sign off on that. My prediction for the game, I think it's gonna be a draw. I think people will be disappointed.
Yeah.
All these guys don't want to drop points, and none of these guys are gonna come out guns blazing. It's risky. You're gonna leave holes in. Like if you do that, right, you're gonna leave space in the back for.
Sorry, Patrick. Sorry to interrupt you. Before you go, I have to get this one in. Do you see as a case where Manchester City can't afford to lose this game more than Liverpool because you've already lost one game already this season?
Yeah.
So as it could possibly be a draw. I don't think Pep Guardiola is gonna want to lose this game.
Yeah, I don't think he will. The same way as he didn't want to lose the Chelsea one. I think he knows that the quality is higher this time. I think he knows that it's going to be small margins this time. Trust me, even though we beat Chelsea, that Chelsea team is going to steamroll these small teams and other teams that are average.
Yeah.
So let's be careful. And Liverpool with Van Dijk back, with Kanote on the bench, Matip playing very good, and you know what? Like Curtis Jones, that other kid who got injured, also looking like a force.
Yeah.
Look, for me, I think Pep won't want to lose this, and I'm pretty sure Klopp also doesn't want to drop points. Both of them know. So look, it's going to be an intense game. As I said, if somebody has mistakes in them on this particular night, I think that's the team that's going to struggle.
Yeah.
If you make mistakes, the same way as you said, the Alisson mistake opened up a floodgate of more and more pressure. So whoever is on point is going to win this game. But I think this game will be tight, and pundits should stop trying to sell this game as if it's a 5-0 game.
Those certain broadcasters from Sly TV, yes, Sly, and it has a dollar sign going through the S. They've got to do that because they're gonna get their subscribers in because other people are going elsewhere. Ain't that right, Fuzzy?
Yeah.
But just one thing, Patrick, just one thing before you go. Do you think Manchester City are gonna let the Anfield crowd affect them? Because in recent years, when I've looked on your Manchester City fan base forum, Blue Moon, they're all saying keep Raheem Sterling as far away as this game as possible. Do you think the Anfield crowd is gonna affect Manchester City? Because I'm telling you, our Anfield supporters are going to be baying for blood in this game.
They will. After what happened last season, I think they will be amped, And Raheem, I know he finally scored and got rid of the voodoo against you guys, but I don't think he should step in because his confidence is already down. Imagine right now he gets into the Anfield, they're going to eat him up, At Anfield, they're going to eat him up for every mistake. Look, even though Grealish didn't play against PSG, I think he still has to start because Grealish feels like he's not phased. Even if he gets booed, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. He's not phased. Unfortunately, he might end up being a Premier League merchant. Maybe we thought it was going to help us in the Champions League, but anyway, Raheem mustn't play this game. I'm telling you, so you're right about that. They'll eat him up. His confidence is down already. This can destroy him. So we need guys who are not phased. Maybe Ferran Torres. Jesus, people who don't really have a connection with Liverpool. So so that's what I can say. But look, I hope both teams play very well, and I hope there mustn't be like red cards or small mistakes. I want a fair game, I want it end to end, and I know it's gonna be hard because the other people are not happy with what happened. They're not happy with what happened. So we'll see. And they won't this is an advantage for you guys because they're not going to let these guys away with it. Because that time they were not there. Now they're not going to let you guys away with it. I bet you, even if you're winning 2-0, if you're going to be winning 2-0, your crowd is not going to let them. The players will be pushed and they'll have to give their all. So look, I hope the best team wins. We'll see each other after the game.
Definitely, Patrick. Thank you very much, brother.
Patrick, and thanks for joining us tonight. Really appreciate that. May the best team win. So Patrick's gonna get off now. Big up to yourself, and don't forget, people, please check out his channel and show him some love and support, even though he is a rival. Patrick, have a good night and God bless
See you guys. See you, man.
care,
Listen,
brother.
Posey, respect to you guys. See you guys.
Thank you, brother.
Peace
Thank
out,
you.
bro. So yes, people. So there we have it. Manchester City. Let us know your score predictions. It's gonna be tough, Fuzzy.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm thinking we could go there and repeat the game we had against them in 2019 when we won 3-1. If you remember, that beautiful cross by Henderson for Mane's goal, that was the third goal of the game. The beautiful link-up play between Trent and Robinson from wing to wing. And then he's crossed the ball in and Salah's got his head to it. The opening goal by Firmino, that rocket of a shot. Yes, Manchester City had a depleted team. There was some changes. Apparently, there are going to be some changes in this game as well. I think the lack of striker will hurt them. But Manchester City, look, they still have the quality. They got Jesus. They're gonna have Grealish. Mahrez can come off the bench with his tricky. I think we've got to be on top of our game. And I just believe, for me, Fuzzy, with the inclusion of Van Dijk back, they ain't gonna let nothing get past them. They ain't gonna take it for granted. They're gonna be on top of this one. I really believe they know how important this game's gonna be.
The thing is with us, mate, we've got our big game players back, bro. Like you just said, we've got the big games player back. If we have these players back on our team, then the world's our oyster, as I always say. Am I worried about Man City? To a certain extent, yes, because they beat Chelsea. Their confidence might be up from that league game, but they lost in midweek against PSG as well, so don't forget about that. If we don't show them the respect like we normally do, Laser, and play our game, I think we could beat them easily. No, I honestly think that. Yeah. But it just depends on the battle in the midfield, because they haven't got a striker, as you know. If we win that battle in the midfield, I think the game will go to Liverpool. But if we lose that battle, they're going to win the game hands down, so we can't really argue with that.
I think as well, I really do, bro.
Yeah, listen, bro. This game is important for me and you and every Liverpool fan because it will show the Premier League that we're back. In my opinion, I don't know what you think. From my perspective, I think this game, if we win it convincingly as well, it will show the rest of the Premier League Liverpool are back and they're here to stay. Because we've got to send a message out there, bro. This season so far, we haven't had an incredible game. We dominated and battered anyone yet. The old Liverpool. We're just gradually coming back into form, and all that.
Scoring goals again.
That's it. We're scoring goals, but we've got to set a statement as well, Laser. We need to set a statement and tell the football world that Liverpool is back. We're here. We're here to stay.
Yeah. Shall we just touch upon one more topic, squeeze another little one in before we hit the bed sheets for the night? So, Fuzzy, can you start this one off for me? James Milner is going to replace Trent, who is absent. What do you think of his recent performances, Fuzzy, and the people who are still watching us tonight?
He played against Palace, right back, one of the best players on the pitch. He played against Porto, right back, one of the best players on the pitch. And I think he's created 2 goals out of the 2 games. I think like one goal, I think. So it counts as 2. So what I like about Milner is he's a battler. You know what I mean? When Brentford tag teamed Trent at the back post for those goals the other week, they were like 3 players on him and they were winning the battles and they scored 2 goals out of it. With Milner, it ain't gonna happen. He's gonna put his head through their heads. He's gonna probably punch them in the face. You know what I mean? That's what I like about Milner. That's the difference between Milner and Trent. Trent, now he's bulked up. He's got the muscles and all that stuff, but he's still got that weakness. People can team up on him and score goals from his side. That's what he needs to work on. He needs to learn. If you have to put your head through people, you have to do it. You've got no choice. You've got the afro, use the afro. It will cushion the head. You know what I mean? But yeah, Milner will be fine, bro. Milner will be fine. Even if he plays in the middle, he'll be fine still.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm not really worried. For me, we just gotta be a bit more cautious. Because the only thing for me, when Manchester City have their transitions and breaking on us, Milner can't track back. And he's always prone to giving away clumsy fouls. And I just know he's going to get a yellow card in the game. That's what Milner does. But I believe he will send a statement to Manchester City players that, look, I ain't no joker here, Yes, I'm a granddad in football terms, but I'm still here. And that's what Milner does, along with Fabinho as well. Them two are solid players. They've got the one thing about them two. Fabinho doesn't really have pace. Sometimes you see when he's struggling to get back.
It really angers me that, yeah.
But he's got the mentality and discipline he has. He's a guy that never quits, never gives up. He doesn't stop until he gets.
Let me give you something out there. Like, I don't know if the stats can prove this. Sorry, Leza, to interrupt. People need to understand. Since Fabinho is playing in the middle, we haven't lost a game. That's first of all.
Exactly.
What you need to look at is what is the interceptions he makes in the middle.
Yes.
If you look at when he ain't there ain't no interception. So that means the other teams get a chance and score a goal. So he stops the other team playing, and they're playing those through balls for the little gaps. If you know what I mean, Leza. He's been doing that ever since he's been back in the middle, and we haven't lost a game in that way as well. So interceptions always counts, people. You know, like people talk about Kante, Fernandinho. If you don't have these kind of players in your team, you'll be like Man United. Man United don't have that player. So that's why they're struggling in those games when they play. Because they don't have a Fabinho, they don't have a Fernandinho, they don't have a Kante. If they had that, they'll be a title contenders right now. But I don't want to, give them any, props or anything, Then I have to hide that.
I think also, this might work in our favour with Milner coming in, the inclusion in the team. Because, Manchester, if we have Trent, if you look at all the games we've played Man City, it's a bit predictable. They've always doubled up on him. And we know we always try and get the ball out wide to him. Him and Salah would be overlapping with each other and he's getting those whip balls in. Now we have a different dimension. And I think Man City will probably be working out where's that attacking creativity threat going to come from. It's not going to be coming from the right-hand side, those one-time hit crosses, because Trent's going to be out. So maybe this will work in our favour. And I'm sure Klopp will have a trick up his sleeve. I can't wait for this game. I literally can't wait for this game.
That's the difference between Milner, though, bro. That's the difference between Milner. He steps on people's toes, bro. He makes sure that he shows I'm here. You know what I mean? You're not going to get past me that easy today. I'll show you where I stand with you. You know what I mean? And then when you step on their toes and then you see like a hard man in front of you. You played football. You used to be a dribbler. You used to be flair player.
I used to chop up
but like when people show you they're hard and they're here to scare you. You got that fear against them, you know what I mean? That's what he shows. That's what Trent doesn't show. That's what Trent needs to work on in the future as well. Because he's still young. He's 22, something like that. He's got the world in his feet, man.
Yeah, he's got to get that sorted, man. And the thing is, there's been a lot of talk with the fan base. We've seen in the game against Porto that Joe Gomez came on as a right back, substitute for Milner. And I'm assuming Klopp will adopt that strategy again to the substitutes. Because if you look, for me, I'm certain that Matip and Van Dijk will start in central defence. I don't see the reason why Klopp will throw a curveball and let's say throw Konate in there. He doesn't need to.
People need to wake up to the reality. Phillips has signed a contract. Konate is here to stay. Let's just be honest there. So that's 5 centre backs, like with Gomez included. So what's happening now is Trent is not fit for some reason on a regular basis. I honestly think. Obviously, Milner can complete 5 games in a row. I think Gomez is potentially going to be the right back, to Trent.
Fuzzy. Finally, someone said that.
Yeah, I think that's what's happening.
Fan said that. And I think so as well, because
people need to wake up to reality.
He can't play all them games, and there's going to be times where we need to juggle it accordingly. I think Klopp's learned from last year. We've all learned as a fan base that you don't want to get caught short.
Can I ask you a question, Laser? Like a lot of people are saying they don't like Gomez as a right back. What has he done wrong to not be a right back?
You know what it is, bro? I'm going to be honest. I don't mind him playing there. I'm going to be honest on there now.
Yeah.
But I'm not feeling it long term. And
no, it's not long term. Obviously, long term is Trent.
But I wouldn't be feeling it if it's regular. Do you know what I mean? Because for me, he doesn't have that attacking nous like Trent. I remember when he was played in that position in 17-18. No, it was 17-18 in the second half of the season.
The 4-3 game he played, I think.
And it was clumsy. It was clumsy. I remember the game at the Hawthorns, and I was there, and we drew 2-2. We were actually winning 2-0. Remember that? And he done a sloppy back pass. I don't know what he was doing in that game. And
but he has that moment at centre back as well, bro. You've seen it in the past.
Yeah, he does. But I just don't think. For me, I see him more as a natural centre back. Yes, he can play there and do a job, but he strikes me as a player. For when he's played in a right back role, when it's shoring up in a defensive aspect. If you go back to the game against Barcelona at the Nou Camp, he started that game away at right back. He started.
We still conceded goals,
Exactly. So it can be done for this season. In the short term, but in the long term, I think Klopp and the rest of the scouting team are eyeing up another right back to challenge Trent. And let's be honest, guys, a lot of fan base was saying, "Oh, he's never going to be, outdone and challenged." Look. We're now starting to talk about Tsimikas with Robinson on the left-hand side. And I believe there's another guy out there that can play right back that will challenge Trent, and I think it would be needed for his own good, because let's be honest, he has become complacent. I don't know what's happened in his head, and I'm sorry, Trent, I'm not dissing you or anything.
Yeah.
Something is happening. I don't know if it's because he's won the Premier League at a young age. He was given all the plaudits and applause, you know, with the corner taken quickly and all that malarkey in 2019.
Yeah.
It's just sort of lowered his level a bit. He's been
It's
out
not,
for
it's not lowered his level, bro.
He has grown, man.
No. I'm not saying. I agree to a certain extent. You're saying what? It's not just so much of lowered his levels. He's too arrogant, bro. He looks
that's
arrogant,
what I mean. Yeah,
arrogant on the pitch. He needs to get rid of that. You know, like when he started, he was humble and he was
hungry,
trying his hardest. But sometimes, like, somebody needs to get into his head, say to him, bro, you need to shape up, man. You are the best right back in the world, so start playing the best right back in the world. Let me give you an example. England took him out. What did he do in the last 10 games? He became the best right back in the world again. You can't turn it off and turn it on. You can't do that. We can see it for ourselves. We're not blind. And not only that, this is your club. You should be the figurehead of this club. I mean, you're born and bred at Liverpool, and you support Liverpool for all your life. So start performing like a Liverpool player on a regular basis. That's the advice I will give him. I don't know. He's a bit too quiet for my liking. I think he's got to do a lot of that on the pitch. He needs to start shouting at players and, you know, show them like who they're playing for. I don't know what you think, Laser. I think he's just too quiet.
I agree with you. I think, like, well, it is a lot of the opposing teams that he plays players. I've just targeted him so much. One game that sticks out in my mind, and it was the game against Southampton at St Mary's last season.
Oh, that was
and
awful, man.
Shocking. If you remember, he was substituted early in that game.
Because he kept on crossing the ball and not going
anywhere.
anywhere. He didn't even pass the ball to his own players.
Yeah, it was shocking, a shocking display. And as you said, you know, when there was the threat of him being dropped from a major competition, major tournament, the Euros.
He turned it on. How you do that, Laser?
You know, scored against Villa, that wonderful strike, you know, right at the death. And he's got to maintain that consistency. I don't know, for me, when you look at Trent Alexander-Arnold, he's bulked up a lot. I don't know if he's put a bit too much muscle mass on, because it seems like he's lost a few yards of pace. And we've got to remember, I can't help thinking, has that COVID affected him a bit? Because he hasn't come back the same since then. He looks a bit slower.
It
for me,
takes 6 months. They said, I think 6 months.
It does, man. I've been having it myself. Yeah, it does. And it's like a lot of huffing and puffing. I see with him, it looks like he's blowing up early. He's gassed in a lot of the games as well.
When he's running back against like people that go past him, it takes him a while to get to them as well, and it's really scary when you see things like that. If you know what I mean, Laser.
Yes, bro.
He'll be fine. He'll be fine, bro. He just needs someone to get into his head and tell him like who he plays for, where he's from, and, you know, shape up. If you want to be the greatest right back in the planet, play in a consistent basis in the same way. Listen, to me, he's still the best right back in the world. He just needs to improve in certain things. He's only 22, so they still got time on his side. But it just depends on him. It's all about him, Laser, if he wants it that badly.
Yeah, I agree with you. Is there anything you want to touch upon, Fuzzy, before we go?
Oh, we're gonna try bring the game live, obviously, on this channel.
Yes, but the plan is I'm hoping to be at Anfield, and as you know, we will always stream live from Anfield and bring the content to you, my partner in crime, F to the O to the Z to the I. We'll be doing a watch along for that game. And like I said earlier on in the show, regarding the petrol situation and the weather as well, because the weather's been horrendous.
Horrible, man. Did you see Klopp today at the newsstand?
It was bad.
Anfield Road. Oh, it was awful, man.
Horrible. Gale forces. I woke up to them. My bins were blowing over. The mop bucket was all over the place in the garden. You know what I'm saying? It was just shocking, man. You can hear the fence panels wobbling, absolutely freezing. My heating's come back on as well. Look, as you can see, I've got my hoodie on. I'm normally got my top on. And normally where I'm working gets hot. You know what I'm saying? It's 18 degrees right now, so that tells you what you need to know. You know, it's gone cold, man. So we're going to get some final comments up before we go.
Yeah, of course, bro.
Thank you, Andrew Stevens, as usual. We really appreciate your support, and doesn't go unnoticed as well. One of the regulars with Fuzzy and UFT and ourselves. Big up to yourself. Yes, I'll be there. Yes, big up to yourself, Aziz. So, people, we're going to plug our show tomorrow. So what we have tomorrow, we're going to be doing the Premier League preview show tomorrow night at 9 p.m. on YouTube channel UFT. That's our other channel. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to it already, for those that are watching in silence, because I know there's some of you like watching like ghosts, and not getting active and involved, go over there and hit that like button and subscribe. Here it is. So yes, people, UFTALK, myself and Fuzzy are the co-owners of that channel. It is open for people to get involved, have your say live on air, whichever team you support. Tell them some more, Fuzzy.
Yeah, people, like Laser said, like it's for every team in the Premier League. It's for every team in the world. You know, it doesn't matter what team you support. We need the fans in there. We need to bring, you know, a lot of obviously YouTubers on there as well to help us out. To, you know, like even debate about games. We want it to be the #1 channel. It's got its own slogan as well, UFT. You know what I mean? And not many places have that. Look at UFC, UFT. That's what we got. So with your help, we can get to the promised land. So please do that for us and go and subscribe over there. We've had a lot of people on today as well on here, so please go down there and help us out. We're going to be reaching out to other content creators as well. It doesn't have to be me and Laser. It's going to be other fans from other clubs, like Patrick is one of them, Turf Moore is one of them, Red Devils, Kieran is one of them, and you got Tariq from Arsenal. I forgot his channel's name again.
Yeah,
Tariq Talks. Yeah, so we've got a lot of people on there that's from different teams as well. We're going to try to get the best content that as possible on that channel as well.
I'm looking forward to that show tomorrow night.
So please go down there and help us out in that channel. As for Laser, thank you for today, bro. Thank you for today, Laser.
And thank you, bro, man. We're partners in crime. So yes, people, we're going to plug the show tomorrow. Just get a little squeeze, a little promo in. So yes, people, the Premier League preview show, match week, where we are now, Fuzzy, match week 7.
7, I think, yeah.
Match week 7, and it's Football Talk episode 3. You got me speaking like you know.
We always do it, mate. We always do it.
Coming out, bro. You got to yourself, Joe Powell. You know, he's been a welcome addition to the channel, one of our regulars now since you joined us about a month ago. So big up to you, Joe Powell. We just want to keep going, me and Fuzzy, doing with these platforms. It is hard with other commitments. Like we said, we want to get other people involved to help us along the way. It's going to be a rocky road, but we want to bring the content to you. As you know, now we have these 2 shows a week on LRFC, the Monday night show and Tonight show on the Thursdays, and the Premier League show on the Friday, and then we do watch-alongs in between. Hopefully, eventually, it'll be a daily thing. It might even be 2 shows a day. Who knows, people? But we can't do it without you guys. So, people, good night and God bless. Good day if you're waking up. Good morning if you're just getting up. If you're going to start a night shift, well, good luck to you, people. Try and stay awake and drink a coffee. And if you want to say Fuzzy,
thank you and good night.
Yes, people, it's yours and truly, Laser, LFC, and F to the O to the Z to the I, Mr. Fuzzy, together, the Liverpool Red Forever community. Big up to everybody active in the chat. Until the next time, peace. I'm out of here.